I'm better than that.
Gracias. Well, here I am, back in Tulum, where the jungle meets the ocean. This is one of my happy places, and I can come here again and again and again, and each time I come, it's a moment of clarity for me. I am truly in love with this place for so many reasons, and it's why I just can't seem to stay away. It's easy to get to from where I live, and I always leave with a sense of peace. Some people come here to party, some people come to eat to their heart's content, and others just come to relax. I come to find peace and clarity. Some folks will say that Tulum is not what it used to be, but I don't go places for what they used to be. Some say that it is too touristy. That could be. There are a lot of places to party. There are a lot of touristy things here. But I think that when you're traveling, you have to define your own purpose. You have to find the things about a place that speak to you. And for me, Tulum is just always a very, very spiritual experience. It takes a total of 6 hours for us to get here if you include all of the driving time and the 3-hour flight from where we live to the Cancun airport. It's not the most economical destination, but I'm not looking for economical in this case. And this place has its pros and cons. For me, though, they're mostly pros, and I hope it always stays that way. I would love to visit again and again. And even though this trip wasn't perfect, I definitely had a most wonderful time. I would definitely like to show you while I tell you. So let's get into my latest trip to Tulum. So our trip started with a visit to the Capital One Lounge to wait for our flight to leave, and that did not disappoint. I've never done any lounge before, and now I can't even imagine not doing a lounge. They had a cranberry apple Pop-Tart, a homemade Pop-Tart. It was delicious. They also had deviled eggs, and they had pineapple vanilla cream soda. I'm making that when I get home. We flew out of Dulles in Virginia. When you fly out of Dulles or IAD, you usually have to take a shuttle when you fly internationally to get to your gate. So we did that. And although it looks like we're rushing here, going through the terminal, we actually had plenty of time to get to our gate because we typically arrive at the airport early, and that's so that the anxiety is kept to a minimum. Mainly for me, because I'm still not the best flyer. This is my first time arriving to Tulum at night, and while it seems really dark, it was only about 8 o'clock. I was actually glad for the nighttime arrival because I wanted to be surprised when I saw this wonderful Hotel Maxinab, Tulum, in the morning. I can't really explain it, but it's almost like we would be arriving twice. So we settled into our room and we had our first dinner. Hubby had what he would call his second favorite steak. I had fajitas, and the bread and homemade butter and churros were everything. I am not going to tell you how many churros I ate on this trip. While you will see some wonderful sunsets periodically in Tulum, the thing that you go here for is the sunrise, because the sun rises in the east. There is nothing like catching the sunlight in the morning in Tulum. It gives off such a satisfying glow. We decided to take a morning walk. In the morning, we woke up a little too late to catch the actual sunrise, but we decided to take a walk down the beach so that we could have breakfast at Fresco's, which is attached to the hotel where we stayed the last time we were in Tulum. Well, I stayed because I was there with my good friend. We stayed at Cabañas Tulum, which I highly recommend, alongside with Hotel Maxinab. You can't go wrong with either of these two places. One is a little bright and cheery and a little more touristy, and the other one is a small hotel, Hotel Maxinab, which only has 16 rooms, and it's very quiet. And even though they do have a beach club that the general public can pay a fee to use, the cabanas and the loungers are reserved for the guests first. By the way, this is Cabañas, where I stayed the last time, and here we are at Fresco's. Fresco's has really fresh food, green juice. It's a very healthy place to start your day. And I started with the Cricket, which is their signature welcome cocktail, or mocktail in my case. I can honestly say the few times that I've eaten at Fresco's, the meals were really good, very fresh and very filling. Hubby had the avocado toast with egg, and I had an omelet, and everything just tasted so fresh, and it was seasoned to perfection. Our first day was spent kind of just hanging out on the beach, and I frolicked in the ocean a little bit because the water was perfect. It was so crystal clear, so beautiful, and the weather was perfect as well. February is a great time to go to Tulum, but I recommend going between November and January for optimal temperatures, less bugs, and less sargasso, the seaweed that seems to be invading every Caribbean island. We've been seeing it for years now, and I don't think it's going anywhere. And a lot of the times people will complain about it, but it's not just in Tulum, it's in a lot of places. And it has a lot to do with climate change. So we have to be better stewards of our climate if we don't want to see the seaweed on our beaches. But if you go between November and February, you should be fine. We only really saw the seaweed one day when the wind was really, really bad. It churned up the water and it put a lot of seaweed on the beach. But then the next day it was gone. This particular trip was in celebration of our 34th anniversary. So we did want to have a special night out. We didn't really plan a whole lot, but one of the places we did eat was Kitchen Table. I ate here the last time I came, and I really enjoyed the food. I just got the vegetables and the bread. I tend to eat much healthier when I'm in Tulum than I do when I'm at home, and I need to bring some of those habits back home with me.
Lately I've been staring at the dark. Turn my inner demons into art. Struggle with the pain inside my heart. Wish I didn't care about what they say. What you want to say, what you want to say, what you want to say, what you want. Say what you want to say, 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 what you want to no one.
Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning, you woke up, you got out of bed, and you realized that something was different. That's how this morning started. I don't know if it was the wind. I don't know if it was the fact that I was just getting up early, like earlier than normal, before the sun actually rose. I can't tell you what it was, but I woke up with that feeling. And Tulum must have felt it too, because the wind was winding and the sea was angry. Yeah. It's so windy out here. I'm about to lose my little scarf that's on my head. It's about to blow away. But it's stunning. So I hope you guys enjoy this. We made it a point to come out here and see the sunrise. That was our plan. Because you have to watch the sunrise when you're in Tulum. When I came here the last time in December, I was able to look right out the doors because we were staying on the beach. This hotel doesn't really have rooms on the beach necessarily. Some rooms are up high so they can see the water, but for the most part, the rooms are pretty much garden rooms or in the jungle, which definitely has its perks. I loved the feeling of sleeping in a room that felt like a treehouse. So that was definitely an upside. But the downside is you have this beautiful ocean, and I know what it's like to wake up and look out at the ocean. It's absolutely wonderful. Luckily, our room was just steps away, and so we didn't have very far to go. And I was able to capture the beautiful sunrise, do a little exercising, as you see here, and just enjoy this moment. But in the back of my mind, I just knew something was different about today. It started with our bike ride. We were looking for an ATM, and we were looking for one from a reputable bank, because whenever you're traveling out of the country, you have to be careful where you use your debit card. So we were going to an actual bank location, or thought we were. This location was next to the 7-Eleven, and we were pretty sure we could go there and we could use their ATM and get money, but the location was closed. They did, however, have a teller or an ATM in the 7-Eleven that was for that specific bank. But still, for whatever reason, our bank was like, no, it would not let us get money. They didn't trust it, which great, because they protected us. You can never be too careful when you're traveling. And we really underestimated how much cash we needed. Most of the places in Tulum will take your cards, but if you want to tip someone, or you want to buy things at certain stores or certain places, or sometimes when you want to go to some of the beach clubs, you need cash. And we did get cash at the airport, but we didn't get enough. Anyway, on this bike ride, I managed to lose my AirPods. What's funny is I can still see my AirPods. I know exactly where they are because I have the Find My feature on my phone. So I know where my AirPods are, but unfortunately, I will probably never see them again. And you know what? That's okay. But that happened. So we came back. We had a good breakfast. It was really nice at the hotel. Some of the best pancakes I have ever tasted. I did not have pancakes on this day, but I did taste my hubby's, and they were divine. The thing about this hotel is the food is excellent, but they don't advertise their food. They don't tell anybody about their restaurant. They really do reserve this restaurant for the guests. And there's hardly ever anyone here, which is so odd, because this is some of the best food that I've had in Tulum. And I don't understand it. I did ask the concierge, Diane. Hey, Diane, shout out to her, the best concierge ever, and you'll find out why in a minute. But I did ask her, like, what's the deal? Like, why is your restaurant, like, never full? Why are there only a few people? And she says, we don't really advertise our restaurant. We reserve it for guests. And I love that, because there's always seating. Sometimes we have the whole restaurant to ourselves. And the food is incredible. On this trip, I drank a lot of pineapple juice. I also drank piñata, which is like a non-alcoholic pina colada. Not me just realizing that piñata is pinada, no alcohol. Duh. I drank a lot of that because I don't drink alcohol, so I still wanted to look cute with my little fruity drink. So that's what I did. I got the egg white omelet, which was full of vegetables, because again, for whatever reason, when I'm on vacation, I just eat way better than I do at home. I am going to find a way to duplicate this because I am unbigging my back slowly, but it's a little too slow for me. And I mean, just starting my day with fruit and a juice and, an egg white omelet with vegetables, that just makes sense. Like, why don't I do that more? One thing I will say about the rooms, everything in the room is wood and they can be a little moist. Sometimes things can be a little moist because it is a humid climate. So I didn't discover until the last day that I could open up there's like these little windows that you can open up and there's actually a screen on the window. I didn't think there were any screens on the window, so I didn't open them up, but that would like air out the room. But our room smelled a little damp, so I lit incense that I bought from the store the night before in the room, and it helped a lot. Also, beyond the incense, if you see those doors there, they actually open all the way up. I have no idea why I didn't do that for you guys, why I didn't open them all the way up. But we did open them for a minute. But at night, you want to be careful because there are bugs and, sometimes there's animals. I've not ever seen them, but I hear that, sometimes that can happen in Tulum, especially because you're in the jungle. So we refrained from opening those doors for a very long time. But if you look over in the corner, there's like these shutters that I had no idea, like I said, until the last day that I could open them and get the ventilation that I needed. But the day was still weird, and soon I would find out why, or at least why it would be weird for us. Like I said, you just know when something's just not right. And I could not shake this feeling all day long. Not at all. We went back and we looked for the AirPods. We could not find them. We walked about, a mile. And then we decided to rent some scooters. I don't do motorcycles or mopeds or any of that, but I'm going to do this today with him. Are you frozen? He's fine. I'm fine. It's perfect. Yeah, we're definitely running right now. Somebody got into a fight with a moped, and the moped won. The crazy thing is, I was on the back of the moped, and we kind of started out, and I just didn't feel right. And I said, let me get off. I think you should maybe practice a little bit without me on the back. And 5 minutes later, here we are. No broken bones. He did not hit his head. His back is fine. Everything was fine, but he was scraped up pretty bad. And that was crazy. That was crazy. And that was on this day where the ocean was angry, the wind was blowing, the weather was not happy, and even the sargasso came up on the shore. I don't think I've ever had so many different emotions at the same time ever in my life like this. I was terrified, horrified, but also relieved that he didn't hurt himself. And then also feeling strange about the fact that something told me to get off the moped. I mean, I know it was God, but wow. And my hubby just kept saying, I'm so glad you weren't on the back. And I think if I were, it would have been much worse. So I'm glad too. Once we got all cleaned up and calmed down, and again, the concierge, Dan, she was phenomenal. She just came in clutch, just all the way around. I can't thank her enough for helping out. But we got him all cleaned up and bandaged up, good enough for another day and a half before it was time to go home, and then he could see his doctor. We decided to just hang out on the beach. We spent the day just sitting and being thankful to God and trying to relax, even though both of us were pretty jittery. And then we walked down back to Fresco's to have another cricket because it's my favorite drink in Tulum. I was just so grateful that my husband walked away from that little accident with a few bruises and a lot of scrapes. And the biggest thing was that his ego may have been a little bit bruised because it did happen in front of a lot of people. He's an amazing person and he's a fighter. And, you know, we rallied and we had burgers and we decided we were just going to put this very bad, terrible day behind us and enjoy our last full day in Tulum. And the ocean calmed down. So that was a plus. So pivoting a bit from the talk of the accident, I just wanted to show you some of the outfits that I wore in Tulum. The middle dress I've had forever. It was from Free People. The dress on the left is from Commence, and I love it. It's a cover-up. And then the bathing suit and the wrap are from Amazon. I just thought I'd throw this in because I get a little jittery when I talk about the accident, and I did not want that to be the last thing that I said to you. So our last day, we had breakfast, and I did have those pancakes because I was a little jealous of the pancakes. We had breakfast, and we decided to spend the day on the beach. I did not want to do anything but lay in the cabana all day and just tuck into a really good book. It just so happened that I spotted a Taylor Jenkins Reid novel on the top shelf in the lobby behind the concierge desk. I don't know how I spotted it, but it was up there pretty high, and they let me borrow it. And so that is what we spent the remainder of our time doing. The whole last day, just sitting and reading by the ocean. Of course, hubby couldn't go in the ocean because his cuts and wounds wouldn't let him. And the last thing we wanted was for him to get any type of MRSA infection or staph infection. So we wanted to keep everything nice and clean and wrapped up and out of the sun. But it turned out to be a beautiful day. The ocean was incredibly calm that next day, and everybody was out doing what they do. People came to the beach club because I do believe that was Sunday. So the last day of the weekend, people came, there were crowds of people, but they took really good care of us. And we just had a great time just sitting and talking, eating. We ate a lot. And this time I did not care about being healthy. And what was so lovely is we'd had churros every day, and they had run out of churros because the beach club was crowded, and the chef made my dude special churros. And those were the best ones, you guys. They were amazing. I mean, oh my goodness. I cannot stop thinking about those churros. I mean, he made them with love. I don't know if he heard about the accident or not, but basically, like when they told us, they were like, yeah, there's no more churros. Did you want to order something else? And I think he ordered the cheesecake, and they came back and they were like, the chef is making churros especially for you. Who gets this excited over churros, right? But you know what? I always say it, and I always will, and I'll always believe it, no matter how much money I make, no matter how big content creator I become or whatever. It's always about the little things. And the staff was just wonderful, and the chef doing that for us was just incredible. I would highly recommend this hotel to people who will go there and treat it nicely. I don't want anybody going there acting crazy, but I know none of the people that follow me would do that. But the staff was just wonderful. They were attentive, and it was just worth every penny that we spent. Churros. Those were the best ones, y'all. Like, they made them the perfect crispness, and they were soft on the inside. And we got the dulce de leche sauce to dip them in. I think I maybe got 3 bites and he had the rest, but that's okay because he deserved it. But that's how we spent our last day. And the book, One True Loves, that's the book that I got from the lobby. I got through about half of it on the beach with my churros. And I will talk about that book in another video. Our day ended with another lovely dinner at the hotel restaurant. Like, why go anywhere else? We shared another steak and it was amazing. Oh, and we played Jenga. Because we had a later flight out, we were able to enjoy a good breakfast. I decided to go for the carbs because I wasn't wearing a bathing suit anymore. I had the French toast and it was yummy. Every meal that I had at Hotel Maxinab was nothing short of phenomenal. I have run out of adjectives to describe the food here. It is just sensational. Made to order, fresh, the presentation, everything top tier. Some people complain that Tulum may be too expensive, and honestly, that just depends on what you do. You can literally do Tulum on any budget. Just do your research. The first time we came to Tulum, we spent less than, I think, $900. And that's because we stayed in the city. We were only there for 2 days and we ate in the downtown area. The second time we went to Tulum, we stayed at an all-inclusive restaurant that was not in the hotel zone in the main tourist area. And again, we probably spent under $2,000 for both of us for 5 days. This trip was a lot more expensive because we chose a much more luxurious experience right on the water at a boutique hotel. We wanted to do everything top tier. My last trip was somewhat more expensive as well, but I only stayed 2 days. Again, because I wanted to do everything top tier. But you can backpack to Tulum and stay in a hostel and eat for under $5, $10 a night if you stay in the city and go to the public beach. Maybe splurge on a beach club for 1 day. There are so many ways to do this trip. Don't let someone deter you by telling you that it's cost prohibitive, because it's not. So I attempted to finish my book in the car on my phone. I decided to go ahead and get the Kindle version of it. And actually, that was a good idea because there's about close to 2-hour drive. It's about an hour and 30 minutes from Tulum to the Cancun airport. And that gave me time to read. And I could also read on the plane. So yeah, this was our trip to Tulum. And I hope you enjoyed this video. We had ups, we had downs, we had drama, we had amazing food. And overall, it was a wonderful experience. And we can't wait to go back. So if I do go back soon, of course, I'll be vlogging, and whatever that experience is, I will be sharing it with you guys. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Oh, and details on this little dress. I wore this the last time I came to Tulum too, the first day. This little dress is from Modern Citizen. I am obsessed with it. It has pockets, you guys.